Welcome to Living in the Magic. I'm your host, Rebecca. This is a space for soul-led healing, awakening, conscious living, and remembering who you came here to be so you can move through life with intention, intuition, and the quiet power of your inner magic. Let's talk about people-pleasing. You may be a people pleaser. You may know a people pleaser. You may be married to a people pleaser. You may have a child who's a people pleaser, or a friend, or a coworker, or a sibling, or a parent. Being a people pleaser is not easy. On some level, I believe that we are all people pleasers in one area or another of our lives. Because at the deep root of people pleasing is caring what others think about us. And while some of us may really not care what others think about us for the most part, many of us, I think, probably care a lot about what other people think of us. Some of us are able to work through that and not think about it as much. And for some, it completely overwhelms them. But at the root of it is, the root of people pleasing is caring what others think about us and worrying about others' reactions and their beliefs more than our own. Now, it's nice and it's okay to want to make others happy around us, right? If someone we love is having a birthday, we may want to spoil them or buy them a gift that's going to put a smile on their face. Or if we see someone we love who had a hard day, we may want to do something to help them feel happy or to feel lighter, or forget about their troubles for a few minutes. But there's a big difference between that and allowing other people's needs to consistently override our own. Allowing ourselves to put other people before us all the time. That could be through actions, but that could also be in our minds. Someone who's a people pleaser is going to devote a lot of time, a lot of brain space to caring and worrying about what other people need and what they're thinking about them. And that's not an easy space to live in, right? If you're not a people pleaser, let me help you understand them better. And if you are, I think you're going to feel very heard and very seen. People who want to please others will consistently put others before themselves and will drive themselves crazy with worrying, how did my action just affect the person who was beside me? Maybe you're worried that you laughed the wrong way, or you made a comment, or you had an idea or a thought at work, and now you're worried that your coworkers or your boss, are judging you or think that what you said was dumb, irrelevant, unimportant. People pleasers will have a really hard time with standing up for themselves. A people pleaser will allow themselves to be put down, to be walked all over, to help out 100 times more than they should have. A people pleaser will have a really hard time standing up for themselves, asserting their boundaries. Even if, again, this doesn't fall into every area of your life, I would be willing to bet that for every single one of us, we each have an area of our life where we find ourselves pleasing others over ourselves. And that could be for acceptance. It could be because we want to fit in. It could be for friendship. What do we do as a people pleaser or in the area of our life where we're pleasing? And what do we do to support our children who are people pleasers or those in our lives who are people pleasers? At the end of the day, it's up to every single one of us, every single person, to do their own emotional and spiritual work and growth in order to allow themselves to choose themselves for those really, real people pleasers. It's up to them to get to the space where they decide and they know deeply and internally that what they have to say and their opinions are important and valid. Now, if you are the parent of a people pleaser or you're married to a people pleaser, what you can do to support your spouse or your child is to consistently make sure to ask them what they want and to not allow them to say whatever you want to do. Because a people pleaser will always allow everyone else around them to make the decisions because they just want everyone else to be happy. But we want to learn to nourish and nurture for those around us who are people pleasers, to help them nourish and nurture that part of themselves that makes them feel strong and connected and know that their voice is important, their opinion is important, what they want to do is important. It's important that if you're a strong personality, that you allow the people pleasers around you to get their way sometimes. That's a really important thing to do. Now, if you're a people pleaser and the way to guide a people pleaser in your life, or again, like I said, I really believe that everyone has an area of their life where they're, trying to please. And it could be just with one person in your life. It could be just one of your parents or just your spouse or one child who's more difficult or your boss. There's just someone in your life for whatever reason, you just feel like you need to please them. You're always saying yes. You have a hard time with boundaries. The first step, and what a people pleaser needs to do, the first thing, that when they focus solely on pleasing others around them, they need to notice how it makes them feel. In a moment, they're going to feel relief because making that choice or putting themselves first is going to feel worse or harder. But later, there's going to be a downfall. And, if you're a parent, you may notice that crash in your children, and you may or may not be able to see it very clearly. But if you pay attention, you'll always find a crash. Some energetic lowness that your child or whoever is the people pleaser will feel because they do not get the chance to express what it is that they want. What we want, our desires, are our most important parts of who we are. Desire is a beautiful, important thing. It means that we're a human being and we all have them. Having a desire, but then being able to express it to others, for some, can take a really big level of self-confidence and belief in oneself. Because everyone has an opinion and everyone has desires, everyone has wants. But if they don't believe that their wants are as important as anyone else's, they'll become a people pleaser, because what they'll do is, in a moment when it comes down to it, and there's two choices to make, a people pleaser will not be able to say, this is what I want. My belief is important. My desire is important. So at the very beginning of it is helping a people pleaser, and if you are one, to work on your self-confidence. And where does that need to please originate? Where's the origination point of you feeling like what you have to say or what you want or what you believe is not as important as the wants and needs and beliefs of those around you? And I will say that as a child, I would often think to myself, do I even have my own opinion? It sounds funny, right? I was a copier. It's not that I didn't have original opinions. I just didn't even think that what I wanted or what I thought could be as important as the thoughts or wants of those around me. And it absolutely has continued into my adulthood, where it is so easy for us to fall into this space of just thinking that everyone else is right around us, of so badly wanting to make sure that everyone is okay with us, and that if someone isn't okay with us or someone has a different opinion, that means there must be something wrong with me. Absolutely not true. Now, if we're someone who doesn't think about others, right? We want to be kind. We want to be thoughtful. We want to give space to others to have opinions and ideas and beliefs and make choices, absolutely. But if you stick up for yourself, or you find yourself in a position where someone really wronged you and you want to say something, or you said something and you immediately start to doubt yourself, I want you to take a minute and look into, where is that doubt coming from? Because it's not necessarily coming from a space of that you did anything wrong. It's coming from a space of self-doubt and perhaps even worrying more than anything. Now, what does that person think about me? Because when we take a stance, when we have an opinion, when we have a belief, when we're true to ourselves, sometimes it's going to upset people. And that doesn't make us wrong. All of us want to grow into people who understand that our opinions and our voices and our beliefs, they matter, right? They're really important. And other people's are not more important. Now, again, I'm going to stress the fact that I still believe in being considerate. I still believe in thinking about others when we make decisions, if it's affecting other people. But people pleasing means that we assume that we're always below. We assume that we're less than. It's not humility. It's putting ourselves down. Humility is something different. Humility is understanding that we're all equal. But if we're all equal, then that means my opinion is as important as the person next to us. Not more, but certainly not less either. Being a people pleaser means we're more worried about pleasing others than we are doing the work of our soul than we are doing what it is that we came here to do. People pleasing can often block us from running after our dreams, from trying to get that promotion because I feel bad. What if I, move up in the company and I'm no longer helping my boss who's been there for me for so long and relies on me and depends on me. So I'm going to keep myself small over here because I need to help them. Not because they even necessarily asked me to, or maybe they did. Either way, I'm going to keep myself small. Some children, even adult children, get stuck in the pattern of trying to please their parents. So instead of doing what they feel called to do in life, marrying the person that they love, building the type of the home that they want, switching communities, not following the path that's laid out for them, whatever it might be. Some adult children are stuck in spaces of worrying about pleasing their parents. Again, I don't mean that we shouldn't be respectful of our parents. We should. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to be accommodating of them or give them the respect of listening to them. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if we're worrying about pleasing our parents or we're living a life that is not the one that we really want, then we're making ourselves lower, but we're putting ourselves down and beneath the person that we're trying to please. If we're trying to please our partner, our spouse, our boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Our husband or wife, if we're worrying about pleasing them, we're going to start to feel resentment. We're going to feel less than. We're going to feel like a victim. What is a victim? A victim is someone who doesn't have, responsibility or is not in charge of their lives. And we're going to feel like a victim when we're people pleasing because we're not expressing what we want and what we think and what we believe. Sometimes we express it and then we immediately regret it. That's another symptom of people pleasing. We express what it is that we want. We immediately regret it because we are still not as strong enough as we could be. We don't believe in ourselves as much as we should, right? We say it, but we immediately regret it because no, what if it upsets them? What if it ruffles their feathers? But you're not in a mutual, respectful relationship if you're worried about pleasing someone around you. And some of us are going to be people pleasing to our children because we're afraid of their reaction. But then we're teaching our children that kind of dynamic is okay. Essentially, people pleasers want to work on not just their self-confidence and belief in themselves, but also not being afraid of the reaction of someone else. They are another human being in this world on the journey of their life. And sometimes to a people pleaser, when someone doesn't like them, it really feels like the end of the world. And that person who doesn't like them feels like the entire world. Oh my gosh. And it becomes magnified and we forget about the other millions and millions of people that live all around us. That one experience becomes so big, that one person, and we get so trapped and stuck in our little box of our life. And we forget that there's so much more out there. When we're people pleasers, we allow ourselves to stay in the cycle of people pleasing. We keep ourselves small. We believe that we are less than. And so I want you to start to examine in your life where you are a people pleaser, where that tendency comes up. How do you make yourself small? What part of you, where does it come from, this deep belief that there's someone else out there around you who is more important, who is higher than? Again, it's okay to spoil the people in our lives sometimes to want to make them happy, but that can't be our sole purpose. It also can't be what drives our decisions, our major decisions and moves in life. It could be, tonight we're going to choose the restaurant, my friend or partner wants to go to, even though I don't really like it. But that shouldn't be happening every single time. Maybe we take turns. And there are people who are flexible. They just genuinely don't care as much. It could be coming from a space of being a people pleaser. It could also be coming from a space of just not in touch with their wants, needs, and desires. Some people are more opinionated. Some people are more go with the flow. And it's okay to be that way. But as a human being, we all have desires. That is what makes us a strong soul. That's what's in our soul. We all have desires. Without a desire, we couldn't be here. Right? Every day we have a desire to drink and to eat, to keep ourselves alive, or to breathe. We need things. We all need things. Desire is the strong driving force of a human being and a soul. And we can, and I encourage you to be and to get more and more in touch with your desires, because that helps you to define more and more who you are, what you want, and what you need, so that you can move forward in a space in your life where you care and you're considerate and loving to those around you, but without negating who you are and what it is that you want. Thank you for joining me here on Living in the Magic. May you carry what you've received into your day, into your heart, and into your life, walking forward with more clarity, connection, and trust in the magic that is within you.